So with 120 days now to December the 31st and to the Brexit deal deadline, we're still no nearer any kind of trade deal. But today I want to talk to you about what happens regardless of that trade deal if you're a second homeowner with a home in France. Because it may well be that you will be severely limited in the amount of time you will be able to spend in France after December the 31st, 2020. So in this video I'm going to talk about what that means for you and what you can do to try and change it and how you might get round this. So welcome to the second of my Brexit videos, and if you're enjoying them and you want to keep up to date with what's happening in this countdown to Brexit, along with all the other stuff that I've got on my channel about the south of France and about what is going to change in 2021 when Brexit actually happens on December the 31st, then please hit the subscribe button down in the bottom corner. Also hit the bell, then you'll receive a notification when a new video appears. Anyway, let's get on with it. What is going to happen in 2021 if you are a second homeowner with a house or a flat or an apartment in France? Well, currently, as it stands, you can come and go as you please. Now, technically speaking, this is not actually legally true, but the French have never had any problem about Britons overstaying their Schengen visa periods, and I don't know of anybody who's had a second home, who's got a second home here, who's had any problem in staying for 180 days or 240 days, etc. But going forward, if Britain becomes a third country, which it almost certainly will, unless there is some kind of special bilateral deal done between France and Britain, and I will later say to you why I think that would be the best solution if we could do it. Currently, the situation is that you will only be able to stay in your second home or stay in somebody else's home here for 90 days in any 180. So that's 3 months. Now that might sound a very long time for a holiday, but of course if you're a retiree or if you're somebody who comes here to do other things, then that may not be a very long time. And the other thing to crucially remember about this is that those 90 days, after you've spent the 90 days in France or in anywhere in the Schengen zone, you cannot then just nip out and do a quick visa run to Stansted or wherever and then pop back for another 90 days. It doesn't work like that. You can only spend 90 days in any 180. So the reason I think this is going to be problematic for many people is that at present there are people who come here for 6 months of the year. They come here in May, they stay for May, June, July, August, September, October, and then they head back to Blighty or they head back somewhere else. You will simply not be able to do that unless there is a bilateral agreement established between Britain and France. Now you might think, well, there's going to be no precedent for that. But actually, as it currently stands, Britain will allow you, as a foreigner, to come into Britain and to spend 180 days there in any year and to spend them consecutively. You don't have to do 90 and then disappear and come back. It's not like a sort of Thai situation where you do a visa run across the border into Myanmar and pop back, as we did when we were there. I've got a video about that coming. But so that's the current situation. So what can we do about it? Well, there are currently groups, again, going on Twitter that you can look on, who are trying to campaign for Britain to establish this bilateral agreement. My great worry is that it really isn't the top of the government's priorities. It doesn't seem like they're anywhere near cutting a trade deal, let alone a bilateral agreement on visas. So it would seem to me quite unlikely that a situation that could very easily be resolved between the two nations, between France and Britain, will not be resolved, and you will end up only being able to spend 90 days in any 180 here in France. And actually walking down these stairs like this, it may be the last walk you ever do anyway. So if you're a second homeowner and this is disturbing you, what do you do? Well, the only alternative you have is to actually get yourself a visa, a long stay tourist visa. Now that I think currently involves a cost of about 99 quid and will obviously involve some kind of paperwork. I think that most of it can now be done online. Previously it couldn't, and it was incredibly time consuming and complicated, and you had to go down to the prefecture, etc., and fill in a lot of French forms. Anyway, that is the option that you have, is to take out that long stay visa. But it is not as simple as, oh, I just apply for a long stay visa, then I can spend as much time as I like in France. Because in order to get that long stay visa, what you are going to have to do is to prove to the authorities that you're not going to work here, is to prove to the authorities that you can sustain yourself, that in other words you are not going to be a drain in any way on the French social security system. And you're also going to have to prove that you have health insurance. Now that could either be private health insurance, or it could be private health insurance in conjunction with the French health system. So as well as providing proof that you are not going to be working here, that you're not going to be a drain on the French health system, and that you have crucially your own private health insurance, which, as we talked about in the first video, could be very problematic for many people with pre-existing health conditions or people who are much older. Insurance is obtainable, anything is doable, but it could be very, very expensive. But as well as providing those things, what you also need to do is have a proof of income. Now, you either need to be able to prove that what you have coming in to your bank account every month is the equivalent, I think, of what they call the French minimum wage, which is about 1,200 quid a month, or you need to prove that you have in your bank account enough money to sustain you for the 12 months of the visa. So this does have, again, implications. Now you may say, well, if you're a second homeowner, you're probably going to be quite wealthy and you're going to have that level of income, but it may not be true, and it may well be that you are sustaining that second home on the rental income of the first home in Britain. So bear in mind, you are going to need proof of income in order to get that visa. So that is the situation. The bottom line is, right now it all works beautifully. Going forward, it doesn't seem like it's going to be anything like as simple. And of course there is one other option, and that is simply that you become French resident, that you actually take out a carte de séjour. But that, of course, is a whole other ball game, and it's a whole other video. So please subscribe, because that one will be dropping in the next few weeks. You see, there's quite a lot for people who've been coming to France for many, many years and have second homes here to take in. So please, if you've enjoyed this video, subscribe, but also more importantly, please share it with your friends, share it on social networks, share it in the various groups that are interested in this stuff, and hopefully we can find a way through to a smooth transition into 2021. If any of this affects you, or you think you thought of something that I've missed out in this video in terms of how you might get round the rules, or how you might bend the rules, or how the rules currently work, then please leave a comment in the comments section. It would be great if this became some kind of exchange for people to share their views and to share information as we head towards the 31st of December deadline.